Today, I'm going to introduce myself and then I'm going to introduce the speakers. I'm Karen Griffin. I'm the Vice President for Hardware Controls and Automation, and I'm the Treasurer for the current CSIA Board of Directors. Today, we're going to hear from Georgia Whalen and Christine McQuilkin on hiring top talent to drive sales growth. Your digital footprint matters. 7 strategies for success. A little bit about Georgia. She's the founder and owner of Rivergate Marketing, a full-service digital marketing agency, helping CSIA member systems integration firms build strategic, data-driven marketing and PR programs. Georgia and her team are passionate about helping clients compete and be found in a crowded digital space. Rivergate's marketing team has a consistent track record of success and gaining industry recognition for clients, driving website traffic, increasing sales opportunities, strengthening brand awareness. And Georgia has served as co-chair of the CSIA Marketing Committee since 2016. We're also going to hear from Christine McQuilkin. And a little bit about Christine. She's the Vice President of Account Services at Rivergate Marketing. Christine helps guide agency strategy and champions building a great marketing team. She enjoys using her engineering background to create memorable brands for industrial business to business clients. She thrives on collaboration and the challenges of helping clients build and implement data-driven marketing strategies to achieve their corporate goals. Prior to joining Rivergate Marketing, Christine served as Director of Marketing for a $50 million systems integrator. Christine has served on the CSIA Marketing Committee since 2018. Please join me in welcoming Georgia and Christine.
Thank you, Karen. So, just to get started, to give you a little bit of an overview of who we're serving and the geographical coverage of Rivergate Marketing. We are really solely niche focused on the marketing needs of system integrators and engineering firms. And we're truly passionate about telling your stories and helping you be found online. We'll have a QR code at the end, and we have some very valuable resources for you. We've also included a LinkedIn ebook for revamping your profile as an executive and what needs to go into that. So whether your most pressing challenge is hiring, and I know that's a big challenge for a lot of the integrators, or it's driving new revenue growth. Your digital footprint really matters. And we all have known that for, I think, a long time now, that it makes a difference. But post-pandemic, the most recent study from Gartner shows that the buyer's journey is actually 83% complete for a complex B2B sale by the time they reach out directly to the providers they want to consider. And during that time, your sales representatives have just 5% of in-person time with that buyer during the entire buyer's journey. So the question you need to ask yourself is, are you putting the proper investment of time and money into your digital presence? So what is your digital footprint? So your digital footprint, yes, the website's a big part of that, but it's your total online presence, from your social media presence to your presence on industry websites, your listings and guides for your solution. If you're a solution partner for somebody, it's how you're representing your company across all channels where you can be found online. Company alignment is foundational to your first strategy that we're giving you here today. And by company alignment, I mean everybody needs to be on the same page across, everybody talks about break down the silos between sales and marketing, but I would argue it goes way deeper than that. It's sales, marketing, service, support. Everybody needs to know what your unique selling proposition is and how you go about delivering on those services. So communication and making sure everybody is on the same page in your company is extremely important to make sure that your digital footprint is representing one thing, and then the delivery of those services from everybody in your organization backs that up. So it's a consistent experience. Going beyond that, it's not just about acquiring new customers, it's about keeping your customers. So you need to make sure that your digital footprint and the content that you're putting out is relevant to your current customers as well, answers their questions, and speaks to them as well as trying to acquire new customers. So far as the hiring piece, your digital footprint is also speaking to those new potential hires, and they want to know that you're a good company to work for. So anyway, let's go on to the next one, which is the undisputable heart and soul of your digital footprint, your website.
Hello everyone, nice to see so many friendly faces this morning. Let's dig in. Let's talk about your company's website. It is the 24-hour salesperson. It is the repository for all of your outward-facing sales and marketing information. We all know how important this is. First thing we need to know, how old is your website? How long since you've had a refresh or a redesign? Can you raise your hand if your site is less than 1 year old? Awesome, great, congratulations. You can put your hands down. This is really important for your digital footprint. Okay, raise your hand if your site is like 2 to 4 years old. Okay, good. I'm sure it's still working hard for you. But it is time to start thinking about and planning that next redesign. Industry standards say every 2 to 3 years, but in this industry, we're letting you get away with 5 years. So why do you want to keep your website up to date? What does it matter, right? It's the same info, right? It's not the same info. Aside from keeping your brand style fresh, and we have a graphic designer on staff, and the styles do change every few years, so you gotta keep your style fresh. It also forces you to evaluate your offerings and your value proposition, as Georgia referred to. Keep that messaging up to date. You can also fine-tune your navigation. We all sort of gather pages that we don't, they're not up to date. We need to get rid of them, move on, keep that messaging tight, and it's going to give your visitors a more seamless experience. A very important reason to update your site is search engine optimization. So you can take advantage of changes in technology, so SEO. We've all heard the buzzword. So by carefully planning out the content for each stage of your buyer's journey, which is how a website visitor becomes a contact, and then a lead, and then hopefully a customer, we'll publish information that hits each stage of that buyer's journey that will help reduce friction, and hopefully you'll get a better conversion rate because you're giving them the information that they want at the time they want it. As Georgia said, these people are way through the buying process before they ever reach out to you. Remember, clear messaging on your website about your services and value proposition. What else is important? Not as many people will have a non-mobile responsive site these days, but if your site isn't mobile responsive, we really have to talk about it because you're going to be dinged in search results. So what mobile responsive means, as I'm sure you know, is if your visitor is browsing on a smaller device, such as a phone or a tablet, they're going to see a different version of your site that is optimized for that smaller screen. So search engines are punishing you if you don't have a mobile responsive site. So for example, if you would have shown up on page 1 or 2, now you're going to show up on page maybe 5 or 6, unless you already have too much work. Once we've got those high-level things taken care of, let's dig into the content. And you all said the content creation is really important. We agree. Does your site have a blog? Can you raise your hand if your site has a blog already? Great. All right, the rest of you who I'm speaking with, you need a blog. You can showcase your technical expertise here and also your human interest side of your company. And both are important, especially in this time when we're all trying to hire. The keyword-rich technical content is going to be the vehicle that's going to drive traffic to your website. You should write 1 or 2 blog posts a month or more if you're able to. Soon you'll start ranking for more keywords and your site will be considered an authority for those words. You'll be served up more often by the search engines. When you've been publishing blogs for a while, you'll start to see patterns in your content, hopefully. And these should relate to your key industries or technologies. Maybe you'll gather 8 to 10 pieces of content, maybe they're articles or case studies or videos. They could be process related, such as equipment that uses tension to manufacture products with the web material, Or maybe it's industry related, like a subset of the food and beverage industry, like protein. Could be technology related, like Rockwell Automation or Siemens Control Systems. So this page, it's called Cornerstone Content, or a pillar page, and it houses all that related content. It's really helpful to visitors because instead of like digging through your blog and searching to find other things you have on the same topic, it's a one-stop shop, and search engines reward it very highly. It's also very helpful to your visitors. And this page isn't a short article. This is long-form content. It's got internal links to, say, your other blog articles or videos, but it also has external links to helpful industry sites. Cornerstone Content is what it's called, or pillar page, and it's strictly educational. We are not selling anything here. So let me give you an example. How can this benefit you? We wrote a mini pillar page on an automation technology, and it was about 2,000 words. So that's a lot, but more is more here, truly. These pages can be 5,000 words or more, and search engines love them, but the readers also love them as well. We publish a page, and it takes time for the search engines to crawl the page and index the content, decide what your authority is. So it's not like going to develop leads for you next week. And as we know, speaking of leads, it's really tough to connect a marketing action to a lead. Our tools just generally don't show that. Some are better than others, but it's hard. It's hard to do that. So back to our example, we had a 2,000-word pillar page, and 6 months later, about a tracked lead came in. They had been on that pillar page, and they had clicked through to the Contact Us form. And you know how long it takes to close a big project in this industry, 12 to 18 months or longer, sometimes years, as we know. But this visitor became a lead with a closed deal in about 5.5 months. This was a game changer for our integrator. There were lots of zeros in that number. It's time to staff up and look for more space. And it's a project we all dream about, but one that also scares us because of its size.
So next up, thought leadership. So what is thought leadership? Well, thought leadership is showing your industry expertise, showing how you provide value to your customers, where your area of expertise is. It can be case studies, subject matter articles for industry publications, those types of things. But it can also be effective for humanizing your company, showing your company culture, and showing why you're a great company to come to work for. So what are the vehicles for thought leadership? Your blog, subject matter expert industry articles, industry events, speaking opportunities, LinkedIn posting and publishing, podcasts, webinars, and videos. So 2 tips with thought leadership. Be genuine, don't be salesy. If you're salesy, it may actually work against you. So you want to be genuine and provide valuable information for who you're sharing that expertise with. Also, you want to nurture your employees to participate. This is not just about your executives. It gives your employees an opportunity to provide value to your company beyond what their normal daily tasks are. And it's actually very rewarding for your employees as well, because if they're providing content for an article in Control Engineering magazine, they're getting a byline on that, and they're getting recognized. So it's good for their career, it's good for your company. So it's a win-win situation. So you want your employees participating in this. Thought leadership elevates your brand's perception. And this is important with the whole employee retention and with hiring. With 40% of the global workforce considering the Great Resignation, we've all experienced that, it's an important time to show why your company is an expert and what are your sustainability practices. What do you do for your community? These are all types of things too that you can talk about in LinkedIn post, on your blog, to show that you're a real company with real people behind it. We all want to work for and do business with companies we know, like, and trust. And this is a way of earning that. So the numbers. A recent study from LinkedIn and Edelman support the importance of thought leadership for building your digital presence. 42% of those surveyed invited a company to bid on a project when that firm was not in the original consideration set. 64% of those surveyed believe thought leadership content is more trustworthy than your company's marketing materials. And 65% say thought leadership significantly changed their perception of a company, and that was for the better. So what are your other benefits to thought leadership? Your vendor reputation. If you're talking about projects and you're highlighting a vendor, whether it's Siemens or a Rockwell case study, you're earning the respect too of your partners, and you're becoming top of mind to partners. Search engine optimization. When you have something published on a major industry website, you're getting high quality links back to your website, which helps with your search engine optimization. The likability factor. When you're humanizing your company, that's all part of the know, like, and trust. So an example of this, Patty Engineering did a podcast, and that podcast then became long form content on their website with lots of very valuable keyword-rich content. It helps you repurpose this content. Thought leadership helps you repurpose content in multiple ways. So another example of this is for AMT, they did a speaking event. We transcribed this speaking event and turned it into an ebook. Now they use it as a download on their website for lead capture. It was also published on an industry authority site. That's what was published on A3's website. So again, it's all this interlinking. So next up, social media.
How do you guys feel about social media? Do you think it's a distraction at work? Do you really want your people doing it? You don't know what all the fuss is about? Maybe you've heard enough people talk about it. I want to try it, but I just don't have the time to get started. So with our clients, we work with LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And LinkedIn by far has shown the best results overall. In fact, it's so important that when we onboard clients, we offer a training for all employees, just basics on how to LinkedIn, how to edit your profile, how to share a post, how to share a company post, basic stuff like that. You know the old adage, it's not what you know, but who you know. Well, on LinkedIn, you can know or speak to thousands of people in your industry or maybe in your target market, your specialty. How long would it take your salespeople to make these connections outside of the platform? Sales uses LinkedIn heavily, but we can all take advantage of it as well. And what does speak to mean? Right? Well, this is how we get that valuable content we've created in front of our target audience. How do we start? Well, we begin by building your company's LinkedIn following. It's pretty simple. Just start by asking all the employees to follow the page. Ask them to properly connect their profile to your company page, which means that your logo shows up in their work experience. Some people type it in and it's not properly connected. They can't be seen in the employees listed on the LinkedIn page. And then finally, every time new content is published, every time, send out an email to all of your employees with the link to the post. Say, please share on your personal LinkedIn. It's simple, but it's extremely effective. You'll get more exposure and you'll grow your following over time. Let's say you're just starting out. Maybe your company hasn't focused on this. You have 100 followers or so. Just to drive the point home, only 100 people could see your post. I'm like, well, that's not many, right? How many connections do you all have, right? I'm sure you have more than I do. I've got about 500. Some of you probably are in the thousands. So think about what if 10 employees or 20 or 100 employees shared your post. It's exponential how many more people are going to see that, and you'll stay top of mind. You think about employees' connections. It's from all stages of their career. It could be past employers, past colleagues, other industry colleagues from associations, friends, and sometimes even family. You just don't know where your next project is going to come from. We've heard a lot of stories, oh, so-and-so knew so-and-so, and are you starting to see the value of LinkedIn? I hope so. I'll give you some examples. One of our clients started out with a couple thousand followers. It's great. But they just executed the strategy of getting everyone to like and connect, and then we send out the emails every time new content goes up. And after 3 years, they've grown their following by 70%, 70. So approaching double. Another client, commercial development resources, we did the same approach, and in the first 3 months, they increased their following 160%. They were low. They started at about 66 followers. It wasn't a priority until then. But then their founder took it to a new level. He He's a LinkedIn premium member, and probably many of you are as well. So he took advantage of being able to invite 250 connections to follow the company page each month. And in the 3 months that he's been doing that, he's further grown his following up to 522, a 166% increase. How does having a bigger following help you? Why should you bother? Well, as Georgia mentioned, in all of thought leadership, your vendors are going to take notice. Who doesn't want more attention from their vendors? Your partners and associations that you're involved with, they're going to care as well. Every month for our clients, we take a deep look at their metrics for their website, and we always look at where's the traffic coming from. For some of our clients, social media is a very strong driver of traffic, and it can be for you as well. Our clients have heard feedback from industry colleagues like, how are you doing it? You're everywhere on social media. So we've seen the strategy pay off of having employees share on LinkedIn. One integrator opened an office in a new city, and as you would expect, business was a little slow at first. One of their employees shared a post talking about the new office on LinkedIn. A past client saw it. They had changed jobs, kind of lost touch, but they saw, hey, I'm in this area, and our client was in the area as well. So they reached out immediately. Project closed because they were already familiar with the integrator. So it went through really quickly, and so the new office was up and running. All thanks to an employee post. So there's other things that you can do as well to increase your footprint on LinkedIn. Your company can and should join in others' conversations as a company, not just as employees. We encourage employees to do that as well. Research shows that a comment is the most valuable action you can take on LinkedIn, followed by a share, and then finally a like. When you take these actions, that post will gain traction and show up again and again and again in users' news feeds. How often should you post? Maybe ask people to get in there. Say, get in there at least once a week. Generate some activity. Employees, sometimes they don't know what to post, so having those company posts at the ready for employees to just simply share or comment on, it's a win-win situation. It just makes it easier for everyone. And when you're a super savvy LinkedIn user, you can move on to LinkedIn publishing. You just click that box that's write an article, with the arrow is, and you write content here. It can be longer form, and it becomes part of your profile in the featured section, and it's searchable, so it lives on. You can show your personality. You can talk about your amazing company culture. Everyone has difficulties hiring. This helps you humanize your company. Job candidates are doing research on your company, even before you interview with them. If you don't believe me, ask them. We did this in a meeting with one of our integrators. A new hire was in there in this meeting. He said, okay, Jeff, what did you do? And he's like, I looked every one of you up on LinkedIn, especially the people I'm interviewing with. I looked at your company profile. I combed through your website. We all know Alan Bolio, our favorite economist. He says that millennials want to do well, meaning they want to get a fair wage. They want to do good, so a social responsibility, and that includes your company. And they also want to be involved, so they want to have a community. And you can speak to this on your website. Show them how awesome your company is. So moving on to press releases, so our number 5 strategy. So what is a press release, and why should you bother doing it? It is a short and very highly formatted, formal article that is distributed on the newswire. Broadcast and internet news services, this is where they get their information from. There's many topics you can write about for a press release, and I'll give you a short list here. Key hires, for example. Executive promotions, speaking engagements, awards, new project completions or key project completions, and certifications. There's lots of topics that you can write about. It's a paid service. Why should you do this? Why not just put it on your website for free? There's many reasons, and the most important one is SEO. Wire service will pick up your article, and it will be reprinted dozens, if not hundreds of times across the internet on news sites. And plenty of them you've heard of, even like Yahoo Finance is one that picks up a lot of our press releases. Because you're going to put this information on your own website first, before it goes out on the wire service, you own it, and that will help increase your own domain authority. Domain authority is a measure of how relevant search engines think that your website is, and consequently how often they're going to serve you up in results. So when your information and your backlink is on these hundreds of news sites, That's going to increase your own domain authority by being related to the others. Press releases also have a long tail effect, meaning that they deliver SEO results far into the future. This is a tactic you can start right away on your own. You can purchase a one-off press release through a reputable site, such as one of these, and there's plenty of online templates if you search to help you format it. There are some benefits to using an agency for this type of work. The primary one is that we can create and save lists of industry contacts that are customized for your company. We use PR Web, and we search their enormous database for news outlets, publications, editors, and journalists that are in your specific industry and your specific geographic area. And we save this list and we use it every time. And we can report on views and clicks, etc. So let's talk about how, some benefits, some success stories here. There can be small outcomes, and these happen more frequently. For example, one of those journalists that we emailed from your custom list, maybe they'll reach out to do an in-depth story on your company, or maybe they'll want to do a case study on the project that you talked about. It can be bigger results as well. Several of our clients have seen really valuable SEO gains from putting out press releases. One client ranked above a robot manufacturer in search engine results on Google. Can you imagine ranking above an Epson or a Fanuc or a Mitsubishi on page 1 of Google? Great. Industry websites and partner collaboration. This is our number 6 strategy. We want you to take advantage of the places that you have to put up a free listing. There's lots of them, starting with the CSIA exchange. Other places like Rockwell Automation, Aviva, ThomasNet, Google My Business, Glassdoor. There's plenty of places. So get in there, make your free listing, update your content regularly. It's going to help spread your message throughout the web. We monitor our clients' sites, as I mentioned, for referral traffic, and we regularly see these type of sites show up as being referrers for website sessions. Talking about a success story, we had an integrator tell us the story. They're a recognized integrator for a vendor's program. They had a free listing on the vendor's database. You can see it was Aviva. A prospect went in there and was searching for an Aviva integrator, found the listing, clicked through to the website, filled out the contact us form. The integrator called them right away. They had a site visit the next week, and it was a quick close, and the project was off and running. It may make sense for you to invest in paid listings as well. CSIA Exchange is another great example. It ranks highly in searches related to terms for our industry. So when your site, again, is linked from a high domain authority site to your site, that's going to increase your domain authority as well. In addition to, CSIA showing up in the results and people finding you through that method. Co-marketing. There's a lot of opportunities here. You can collaborate with your industry partners and vendors on content. You can co-author, co-brand, and co-market a case study or a video on a successful project with one of your technology partners. Many of them have very strong programs. Some of them will even pay you to help offset the cost of making content. Siemens and Aviva and Fanuc are ones that come to mind. Maybe you work with a specific component manufacturer. Get together and spread the word on your latest collaboration. Write articles, write case studies, write press releases, create videos, tag each other on social media. The synergy can gain you valuable traction when you work together. So some of our integrators follow this process, and they regularly work with and maintain a good relationship with their vendor partners. And so the integrators stay top of mind. They actually get sales leads from their vendor partners sometimes. So it's like having an extended unpaid sales team. And who wouldn't want that?
You're on your way to digital success. You have company alignment. Your website is working for you. Thought leadership is cranking. You're taking advantage of social channels. You're investing in press releases. And you're updating your web listings, and you're collaborating with your partners. How do you measure success? What's the ROI? You can log in to 10 different platforms and try and analyze all the data from Google Analytics or some of the social platforms that you can go into individually, and you can gather all those metrics and try and form some kind of conclusion on how it's working for you. But our 7th strategy is we would suggest implementing a marketing automation platform. This gives you one place a hub, so to speak, to go and look at everything that you're doing and be able to track the success and measure the KPIs. We're HubSpot partners. A lot of our clients use HubSpot. This is one marketing automation platform, but there's many others out there. I would suggest that you take a look at using a marketing automation platform. It can serve as your email marketing platform. You can also build out landing pages for your website. You can build out call to actions for your website. And all within the same platform, you can see where someone is coming into your website, where they came from, what they've interacted with. And if you also have your CRM tied in with this marketing automation platform, your salespeople can go in and they can see that buyer's journey before they even have a conversation. So they know what the customer's interested, what have they engaged with, what have they looked at, so they can speak more intelligently with your sales team about what they might be interested in. So it helps build that relationship. So bonus tip is humanize your company. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't underestimate your superpower. Tell who you are. We'd like to open it up to questions from the audience, and we'd also like to provide you with these valuable resources. So if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to download some of the studies that we referenced in the presentation. You'll also have access to the ebook that we put together on how to up your LinkedIn profile or enhance it. So do we have any questions?
Thank you very much. Great presentation. As one of the owners of the business, how much money should we be thinking about investing in marketing as a percentage of revenue? It's always a question I get asked. What would be your position on that?
Actually, from what I've read, I know that most of our integrators do not spend nearly as much as they tell you to spend on marketing. The recommendation for business companies is about 7% of revenue is what you should be. Yeah, I know. I just gave you a heart attack. Most of the integrators are not spending that much, but that is the recommendation from, industry experts that I've read books on.
You mentioned that it was really important for LinkedIn to have your employees linked to the company profile, but I imagine some employers would be a little afraid of doing that in case their talent is poached.
You're right, Lisa. A lot of integrators that we begin working with really worry about this, about putting their employees out there, about their employees getting recognition from doing whether it's a spotlight on your employee that further humanizes your company, that tells about what's great about that employee, what their hobbies are. A lot of integrators will ask us, well, I don't know that I want that on my website. They might be scooped right up by somebody. But we argue that actually the employee recognition, you're helping your employees advance their careers by showing their expertise. And they appreciate that recognition and they value being recognized. And I would argue that it actually helps you keep your best talent, because they are being recognized and they are advancing their career and it's a win-win for your company. And not to mention, we do a lot of spotlights for our clients on their employees when we convince them that this is a good idea. Some of the benefits are when we highlight one of their engineers, we publish the article, we put it in a newsletter, it goes out to all their customers. The next day, the engineer walks into a plant that he's working on a project, and the manager that's working with him says, "Oh, I didn't know you golfed," or "Oh, I didn't know you liked to do this." It puts everybody on a different level. It gives that connection. It's a good thing. It's a win-win. The benefits outweigh the risk.